Hey there, brilliant people. So today's question is, what happens when intuition brings fear? So most of the time, our intuition actually brings a sense of calm certainty. Sure, we may not know everything, we may not even really be absolutely certain as to how everything is going to look when we follow through on our intuition. But we have that sense of calm certainty because we know this is the path, we know that this is the thing that we need to do, because every single part of us is lined up that way. So if your intuition is triggering fear, well, first of all, you may actually be confused between your intuition and your anxieties, because that can happen, because we can sometimes lean into our fears so much that we think our fears are real. And again, going back to something I've been talking about a bit lately, you can check in with your soul seat, you can check in to know if that's coming from your shy or your shiny, because most of the time fear is coming from your shy. But sometimes fear comes from a slightly different place. But see, if the fear is just coming from your shy, then what you want to do is just do whatever you need to do to get yourself back into your soul seat, clear the charge from your fear so that you can listen more to your shiny, because then you're in you want to listen more to your shiny, because then your intuition will be clear, then you will get that sense of calm certainty. But if the fear is not coming from your shite, if it's coming from a part of you that there's still this expansive sense, but there still is this little bit of fear, what does that mean? Well, it's coming from the other place of where fear comes from. See, of course, fear can come from things that are linked to our anxieties, like our things that we're worried about that might happen, sure, or things that have triggered fear for us because of certain horrible memories, sure. However, there is another form of fear, because with all of our emotions, there is a kind of inappropriate or unhealthy sort of form of them, and there's an appropriate healthy form of them. In other words, everything, even the so-called negative emotions, can actually have a positive and useful effect when they're coming from an appropriate space. So with fear, we tend to get a little bit of that fear when we're right on the edge of our comfort zone. And so, yeah, sometimes our intuition can produce fear, but like healthy fear, because our intuition is there to help us grow, to help us go into realities, parts of our life, expand into things that we haven't experienced before, parts of life we don't know anything about, but that actually may be beneficial to us in the long run. But sometimes in the short term, of course, going into things that we maybe don't know anything about, yeah, sometimes that can be a bit nerve-wracking. And so with that kind of fear, here, I want you to try something. So I want you to think of something scary. Think of, noises in the night. I mean, admittedly here it's normally possums, but sorry, distracting you. Think of noises in the night, or walking down that dark alley and you see a figure sort of ahead of you. It's something that's a little bit scary, and let that fear come into your body. Let yourself feel it a little bit, and then I want you to change something. I want you to smile. And that changes it, doesn't it? Because it's interesting. Because on the edge of our comfort zone, yes, there's fear, but there is another feeling as well. Because the things that happen in our system when we're scared, we get an increased heart rate, our increased breathing rate, we might get a little bit sweaty in different spots, our pupils can dilate. All of those same things, well, of course, it's linked to adrenaline, but that is what's going on with us when we are experiencing fear. When we experience excitement, we experience exactly the same thing, but we have a smile. So why is that? Well, with intuition, remember, our alignment is so important. So when we're using our intuition in such a way that it's triggering our fear, it actually means that we're focused on something negative. We're actually using our intuition in an attempt to avoid something we don't want. And that, as a consequence, we're focused on what we don't want. So it's triggering our fear. But when we use our intuition to help us create what we do want, that's a positive focus. So then the fear just turns into excitement, because instead of worrying about what's going to happen, we're anticipating the good stuff. So the more that you can train yourself to know what you want, because this is actually the key, is that so often when we're using our intuition and we've got this really big picture, sometimes we know we want to feel good, we know that we want to have the good stuff, but we don't necessarily know what that's going to look like day to day. Well, the more that you can focus on what it is that does work for you in your life, and that what it is that you want that's bigger, that's, the things that you want that are currently outside your reality, that there are those things out there. The more that you can focus on that, the more your fear will turn into excitement. And of course, when excitement is something that does accompany our positive expansion. So that is another way to help ensure that you're coming from your shiny, not your shy. So come from your shiny, practice that, and as always, remember that you're brilliant.